The High Court has ruled that Kenya's next general election ought to be held in August 2026 and not the scheduled August 10th, 2027. In a landmark judgment, Justice Mugure Thande held that the fifth year following the August 9th, 2022 presidential election commenced on August 9th, 2026, meaning the next presidential election should be held within the fifth year as required by the Constitution. The decision arose from a petition filed by Dr. Owiso, Ashioya Biko, and Helef Halifa, who challenged the interpretation of constitutional provisions governing the timing of presidential elections and the length of a president's term. The petitioners sought a declaration that under Article 136(2)(a) of the Constitution, the next presidential election should be held in August 2026. In her judgment, Justice Thande declared that Article 136(2)(a) requires that presidential election should be held on the second Tuesday of August in the fifth year following the previous general election and not after the fifth year. However, the judge suspended the effect of the declaration to avoid disruption and allow parties to pursue appeals. The petitioners sought declarations on the proper interpretation of the article of the Constitution, including an order directing the next presidential election to be held in August 2026. They argued that the Constitution requires a presidential election to be held on the second Tuesday of August in the fifth year following the previous election. The IEBC had opposed the petition, arguing that the interpretation will create an absurd constitutional outcome by shortening the terms of elected leaders. Justice Thande, however, rejected the respondents' arguments, holding that the Constitution provisions governing elections must be read together as an integrated whole because they tie the elections of the President, members of Parliament, governors, and members of County Assembly to the same electoral cycle.